Hey, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for checking out this video. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Hope you're having a fantastic start to a brand new year. Happy New Year to everyone. Hope it's a fantastic year for you. 2024 was a long one for me, I gotta say. So I'm looking forward to turning the page to 2025. I just wanted to say how much I appreciate all your support through the past year. Every single one of you who watches, likes, comments, subscribes. It really, really does mean a lot. It really, really does help out a lot. And I do appreciate it. So I have a little clip here for you from the New Heights podcast episode that will drop tomorrow, where we're going to get a sneak peek because they are having Caitlin Clark on the show. Big deal for a few reasons. Number one, you may have heard me say at times, I am a diehard, lifelong, through and through Philly sports fan. Love my Eagles. The New Heights podcast, of course, is Jason Kelce and Travis Kelce. Jason Kelce just retired after last season, after a long, successful career. He's one of the greatest centers of all time for the Philadelphia Eagles. Gave one of the greatest post Super Bowl parade speeches of all time back in 2017 after they won the Super Bowl. And of course, this other guy that some people say is his brother. The reason I say that, just to give a glimpse into fandom for those of you that WNBA old guard, sports media, whatever, that don't seem to understand fandom. Uh, in 2022, we lost in the Super Bowl to the referees and the Kansas City Chiefs. I can't stand the Kansas City Chiefs. I loathe everything about the Kansas City Chiefs. Travis Kelce plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. Therefore, I cannot stand Travis Kelce. I refuse to believe that Travis and Jason are, in fact, actually brothers. But anyway, I wanted to dig into this because there's another aspect to this that you may already know that we're going to get to in a minute. But I just wanted to dig into this clip, little teaser for us for the full podcast. And there's going to be something not in here that may be in the full podcast that we're going to talk about in a minute. So let's dig in.
We heard you got your first recruiting letter in seventh grade. Is
Yeah.
this true?
Yeah. So at the time, like,
That's insane.
It's insane.
Were you playing
honestly,
with high schoolers at this point?
yeah, it's honestly sad. Like, where college, like, recruitment has kind of gone, it's just insane. But also,
Gotcha.
I feel very fortunate. Like, my parents were just, like, they told my older brother, like, go get the mail. Like, we don't want your sister to see that. They, like, wanted me to be in seventh
that's
grade and,
cool.
like, enjoy middle school and, like, hang out
yeah.
with your friends. Like, you shouldn't
That's
be
cool.
worrying
I
about where
love
you're going
that.
to college.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I want to stop and point out, and I agree with Travis and uh, Jason completely in what they were saying there about how they love that, and I think it is as well. I want to shout out, give props to Caitlin Clark's parents because so much of what we talk about with regard to Caitlin Clark, how she handles herself, how she handles the press, how she handles her fans, the appreciation for her fans, this seemingly lack of, I don't want to say awareness of her fame. I think there's definitely awareness of her fame and how that can impact, but this lack of entitlement, I should say, in that I think we've all have seen stories or understand what being a great athlete, especially at a young age, can bring and what it can do to that person who is essentially a kid, a teenager still trying to figure things out. And then you get all these people who absolutely adore them, give them things, treat them differently. They get away with stuff and they start viewing themselves that way. They sort of change who they are. They start to feel entitled to things that they don't deserve, that they don't earn, and so on. And we've never seen any of that from Caitlin Clark. And I think a lot of that goes to what we just heard about here is that her parents did a fantastic job of, even though she was a great player at a young age, they did a great job of keeping what that means, around her away from her, at least minimizing it and teaching her values and morals that are going to help her succeed in life, even away from basketball, which I think is absolutely fantastic.
So I didn't really take any visits until like after my freshman year of college, and then I didn't decide until my senior year. So I was never in a rush, and my parents did a really good job of like make sure, I have a good circle around me. Like it wasn't always about college recruitment. I wasn't like posting my offers. Like also that wasn't really a thing when I was growing up. So
But it is now. I mean, it had to be close to when you were growing up. I mean,
yeah, it was close. Like people were starting to do it, like post like, oh, I got an offer from here. I got an offer from here.
and especially in basketball.
Now it's all you see on social media. It's like only people talk about. It's crazy. But obviously times have changed too. But
Oh, times have changed.
yeah,
All right, before she goes, I gotta, because that was wild. And again, I think a great, it was funny how Travis said that about, oh, times have changed, but also keep in mind, and maybe he meant this that way, a little tongue in cheek. Maybe he thought what Caitlin said was funny, just like I did. She's 22 years old, and she's talking about, oh, how times have changed. I mean, I guess we are going back a decade, uh, but I think social media was pretty prominent then as well. But it just, yeah, it struck me as funny for her to say that. But again, that just goes back to her parents doing a really good job. Just real quick, I remember coaching when I was coaching soccer, and I think we had an end of season team party, and at the time, I think it was a team. The girls were 10. Correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say finishing second grade, maybe finishing third grade. Well, it all starts running together. But I remember talking to one of the parents, one of the girls in the team, who went to an all-girls school, Catholic school, and there were 60 girls in the class, in the grade. Yeah, in that grade, and she was one of only three out of the 60, her daughter, that did not have a smartphone. I don't want to get into a parental debate, but just for me, that seems a little wild that 10-year-olds are getting smartphones, which is basically the internet, more powerful than, computers 20 years ago, not to mention all the social media now and the social media apps being put into the hands of a 10-year-old without any supervision. I think that's wild. Obviously, I don't know when she got her first phone. Caitlin definitely seemed attached to her phone, but I think her parents seem to be the type that they kind of kept her away from all that stuff, kept her, being grounded, which I think is absolutely fantastic. But anyway, let's finish this up.
yeah, it's seventh grade was wild. And I was playing up like 2 years. So I was playing with high schoolers. But yeah, I didn't really like think anything of it. Like I was just going out there and hooping and having fun. And it's kind of just what came with it.
Again, real quick to her parents, that's what I think is awesome that she was just being a kid and having fun and playing basketball, and her parents did the best to minimize what could be or turn into big negatives around it. So, one big thing I want to talk about with regard to this, for those of you who don't know it, but really quick first, again, Caitlin Clark just comes across as genuine, sincere, unfazed, aware of, but unfazed by her fame, appreciative of what she has. And the WNBA, we've talked about this before, and their need for media training. They need to do a lot of media training with their players, and they need to get the players who can do this. They need to get them out. They should be getting their players out on the opportunities like this. Look, I'll just go straight off the fever. Aaliyah Boston, for example. Aaliyah Boston is phenomenal in this regard as well. She's always smiling. She's funny. She's laid back. She's well spoken. She's articulate and she's very, very likable. That's just how she comes across. And I said it back in like June, and I stand by this. Aaliyah Boston, way more marketable than Asia Wilson. Unfortunately, the league has a lot more Asia Wilsons than Aaliyah Bostons. And by the way, congratulations to Aaliyah Boston. Shout out to her for getting the endorsements that we've seen since there was that one commercial. Oh, I can't I can't remember the company, so maybe it wasn't that great, but you know the one I'm talking about with the girl at the free throw line that was for a while airing like all over the place. Like every time you watched a YouTube video, you saw that, and it was just awesome to see Aaliyah Boston get that opportunity. I think Kelsey Mitchell would be fantastic, although Fever fans will tell you they've learned that she's very much an introvert. I don't know that she would do it, but she would be great. Lexi Hull would be great. I think Erica Wheeler. And you need the players in the league who come across that way. Arike in Dallas, I think she's another one that you get out on things that are not just specifically, not doing the basketball specific, WNBA specific podcasts, but bigger ones, more general ones like this. I mean, look, you could take Indiana's Big Four, Caitlin, uh, put them all together because of the past year that they had, and because it's a long format. Get Caitlin, Aaliyah, Boston, Lexi Hall, and Kelsey Mitchell, and put them all together on the Joe Rogan podcast. Stay away from, you know, hot button stuff that has been the divisive stuff, and just let fans get to know them. Let people who haven't been exposed to the WNBA that are going to watch Rogan watch these four nice, likable young ladies talk basketball and their experiences and whatever else. Joe's a curious guy, so he'll ask questions. But I think that would be fantastic as well. And finally, yeah, I'm getting to it. As we all know, Caitlin Clark is a huge Taylor Swift fan. Travis Kelce is dating Taylor Swift. I would be shocked if on the full podcast ep that Taylor Swift does not come up. She's got to come up. There's got to be a conversation. And what so many people are wondering, will Taylor Swift be at an Indiana Fever game in 2025? You've got Travis Kelce right here talking to Caitlin Clark. It'll be his off season. He could go as well. So I think that would be huge for the WNBA if they can capitalize on it. That's always the big question with them. But I definitely think that's going to be something that has to. It has to be. They can't go through a whole episode with Travis Kelce talking to Caitlin Clark and Taylor Swift does not come up in the discussion. So that will be interesting. And look, it may be something they want to keep under wraps, right? Taylor Swift gets a lot of attention. It might be figuring it's easier to just quietly let people find out when she shows up for a game. But we all know the kind of attention the NFL garnered when Taylor Swift started going to Kansas City Chiefs games. I mean, you had Taylor Swift fans tuning in that didn't watch football because they wanted to see her. You had football fans going nuts because they were sick of seeing Taylor Swift in the audience and they wanted to actually watch football. But it was wild. But that's, hey, like Caitlin Clark, that's the kind of motion that Taylor Swift has. So we'll see what comes of that. Obviously, when this drops, I'll go through it. If there's some things I like, oh, got to talk about what she said there. I will, of course, do a video on it, but I'm going to leave it there right now. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Once again, thank you for all your support in 2024. If you're enjoying the content, please like, subscribe, subscribe. You can do it. We're TikToking towards 11,000. Things kind of slowed down at the end of the WNBA season, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I will talk to you later.